Hi everyone, and welcome to my yearly review. So in today's video, I'm going to be taking a look back at the targets and goals that I set myself in 2023 and seeing whether I completed them or not. I'm also going to be having a look at some of the events and races that I took part throughout the year. And then I'm going to be having a look forward into 2024, setting myself some new targets and maybe setting out a few races that I'd like to complete throughout the year. So here we go. Okay, so to kick the video off, I'm just going to go back through the targets that I set myself at the beginning of 2023. So there was two main goals that I set out at the beginning of the year. The first of which was to hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. And the second goal was to run over 3,500 kilometers total distance for the year. I'm very pleased to say that I managed to smash those targets completely out of the park. So currently on YouTube, we're sitting at 1,309 subscribers, I do believe. So thank you very much to all you guys out there for supporting the channel. I really do appreciate it. I can't thank you enough. All you guys that come back week after week and watch the videos and leave a comment below, I really do appreciate it. I love interacting with you guys down there in the comments. Everyone that's hit a like button and everyone that's chosen to subscribe since the beginning of 2023, I can't thank you enough for helping me smash my 1,000 subscriber goal. So thank you very much to all you guys that have supported me on YouTube. Second up, the second goal, 3,500 kilometers for the year. Again, completely blown that one out of the water. I think we managed to hit 4,000, I'm going to say 900-ish kilometers for 2023. I'll put the total up on the screen so you can have a look at the exact number, but again, way over the 3,500 kilometer mark that I set myself at the beginning of the year. So really pleased with that. 2023 actually ended up being my biggest ever year of running, not only in terms of distance covered, but also races completed as well. And yeah, I couldn't be any more pleased with my performance throughout 2023. A really great year. I'll just quickly throw up some stats on the screen as well. Elevation has been absolutely crazy this year. Managed to beat 100,000 meters of elevation for 2023 as well. So really proud of that. As well as that, my time on feet has been incredible as well. I think I've done over 10,000 kilometers worth of steps. I'm not sure what that is exactly in step count, but I think it's way, sort of over 11 million. But again, stats are up on the screen so you can have a look at the actual numbers there, but really proud of that. A current step count that I've actually got myself going is like a step streak, and I think I'm sitting at like 219 days solid of 10k plus steps. So yeah, really proud of that as well. So that was a nice thing to keep going towards the sort of second half of the year. So really proud of that. Now, with all those out of the way, I just want to quickly dive into some of the races and events that we got up to in 2023. So first up at the beginning of the year, as I mentioned in my goals video from last year, was the Holmbury Backyard Trail Race. That was fantastic, a superb way to start 2023. And then we followed that up in Pease Lake with another backyard trail race. That race I did with Zachary, which I thoroughly enjoyed as always. So we've just done this year's Pease Lake one with Zachary about a month ago now, and that was fantastic. And we've got the next one coming up soon. Really looking forward to that. So that was a good way to start 2023. Following on from that, I then signed up to the Centurion One Slam. I initially started out by signing myself up to the 400 mile distance. But then as the event progressed, I managed to clock up 600 miles total. So I sort of bumped myself up a couple of levels and managed to get the 600 mile medal here. So really pleased with that. That was a good way to start the year. So that was sort of an event, virtual event, which ran through from January through to March in 2023. So a good way to start the year. Following on from that, we had a little bit of downtime. We sprinkled in a few races. I think we did the Surrey half with Zachary, the kids race there in March. Really enjoyed that. That was a load of fun. And then following on from that, we went into the training for the North Downs Way 100. As part of that training series, I completed a couple of events. The first of which was the North Downs Way 50. which took place at the beginning of May, I think it was. So yeah, completed that. Really pleased with how that race went. I performed really well. Did it under 10 hours, so really chuffed with that performance. Then following on from that, a week later, I chucked in a race that I hadn't actually thought about doing at the beginning of the year, but it just so happened that a position opened up for me to give this race a go, and I jumped into it and we got it done. So that was the London to Brighton 100k Ultra Challenge here. That was a week after the North Downs Way 50. I did that race with Danielle. An awesome day out on the trails. It was really hot that day, and obviously I was a bit knackered from the 50 miler the week before, but loads of fun. We got it done. There wasn't any pressure or any time targets on us for that race. It was literally just get to the finish line and get this medal. So we did that. Really enjoyed that day out. Next up was the main event for 2023, and that was my first ever 100-mile race. So that was the North Downs Way 100. So yeah, this was wow. Yeah, I can't really begin to explain what completing this race meant to me. It's just amazing to do your first 100-mile race. So many emotions, and yeah, all the hard work from the training that went into getting this buckle paid off in the end, and I was really pleased with my result. So if you didn't see the race video, I'll put a link to it above. But yeah, I managed to finish my first ever 100-mile in sub 24 hours. I think I got 22 hours and 11 minutes, and yeah, an absolutely incredible experience, and it's one that I'll be looking forward to having another go at in the future for sure. So next up on the race lists for 2023, we're going into September, where I did my first ever 10k. So first ever 100-mile, followed by my first ever 10k, and that was the Shere 10k. So this is part of the Shere series. So they have the 42k and the 21k. But this year I thought I would do the 10k because I've done the other races before, and I thought it'd be good to get a official 10k race done. So yeah, really enjoyed that. Fast and fun, and yeah, it was a wicked day out on the trails. Surrey Trek and Run always put on great races, and this was no exception. So yeah, really enjoyed that day out on the trails as well. Following on from that, in October, I did another race again that I didn't plan on doing at the beginning of the year. This was just something that I saw pop up advertised online, and I spoke to Dan about it, and we decided to go into it together. So this was the Downs Link. So this was the 10th anniversary of this race, and it's actually run the course in reverse. So usually it goes from Guildford at St Martha's, runs down to Shoreham on the coast, but this year they ran it in reverse. Again, really enjoyed this event. I performed pretty well. Really pleased with my result that I got during the Downs Link. As I say, I wasn't really specifically training for this. I think it was just sort of rolling in off the back of all the other training that I've been doing for the other races throughout the year, and ended up with a pretty decent result. So yeah, once again, pretty pleased with how that went. And then in November, the final race of 2023 was the Beacons Trail Marathon. So this was my first ever sort of mountain race experience, I suppose you could say. And yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. The scenery in the Brecon Beacons was absolutely stunning. And yeah, it was just absolutely awe-inspiring to run around those hills and mountains and see the lakes, and yeah, all the Welsh countryside there. It was a fantastic day out on the trail. So all in all, a superb year of racing and running. Obviously there have been other things that I've sprinkled in throughout 2023 as well. We obviously did a lot of races with Zachary, like the Halloween race that we did, and then obviously we did a couple more backyard trails throughout 2023 as well. So loads of fun across the board, and loads of different distances as well, mainly focused around ultras, but obviously we have had some shorter stuff in there, some fun runs. So yeah, a really varied mix, and I couldn't be any more pleased with how it all went in 2023 in terms of races and events. So looking forward into 2024 then, and the targets that I want to set myself, not only for my running but also for the growth of the YouTube channel. So these goals are going to be very similar to the ones I set in 2023. However, they're going to be aimed slightly more towards consistency rather than huge growth. First up, the growth of the channel. I would like to try and hit 1,700 subscribers on YouTube for the end of 2024. That would be absolutely awesome. It's not a huge jump from where we're currently sitting now at 1,300, but it's definitely a smart target, and yeah, it should be achievable, I believe, by the end of 2024. Then in terms of my running, I think it's always important to stay consistent where possible, and I think if I hadn't been sort of injured and ill at certain points throughout 2023, I probably could have broken the 5,000 kilometer mark. So there was a couple of weeks where I had a flare up with my IT band, and that sort of put me out for 2 weeks. I also had a throat infection, so I had a quinsy. That was before the training for the North Downs Way 50. That put me out for a week. So without those couple of things there affecting my training throughout the year, potentially I could have broken the 5,000 kilometer mark for last year. So I'm going to set 5,000 kilometers total running for 2024 as my distance target. I also want to keep the elevation consistent as well. So it would be great to try and get over 100,000 meters of elevation again for 2024. I think that would be a fantastic baseline. At the moment, in the way that things work with work and family life, the sort of consistent sort of 80 to 100 kilometers a week is working really, really well. And hopefully, if I stay sensible, the injuries won't crop up, and then that will help us hit that 5,000 kilometer target for 2024. Moving on then to races and events for 2024. So there are a couple of things already in the calendar, and other things that I've got sort of earmarked that I want to do for 2024. But sort of first thing up on the channel once again is going to be the backyard trail. So this one is going to be the Holmbury edition, another Surrey Trek and Run event. Really love these. They're superb community events, and this time I'm going to be doing it again with Zachary. So the plan is to do all 3 of the backyard trails with Zachary this time round. Traditionally he's only done the sort of Pease Lake race, which again we done a couple of weeks ago, but this time we're going to try and do all 3. So the next one up is Holmbury, and that is taking place on the 13th of January. Moving on from that, we're into April, and hopefully this year we'll be doing the Highland Fling. So if you weren't around for last year, that race got cancelled, and I was meant to do that instead of the North Downs Way 50, but because that race got cancelled, I ended up doing the North Downs Way. So this year, all things going to plan, I should be running the Highland Fling in April. Moving on from that, I want to have another go at a 100-mile distance race. So I'm sort of looking at potentially doing the South Downs Way 100. Another Centurion 100 miler, and it just seemed like the obvious choice to go for that one. I really enjoyed my experience of the North Downs Way, and that is my sort of home trails, if you will. And the South Downs Way, I've heard great things about. Potentially a little bit easier than the North Downs Way. Could be a controversial statement there, but yeah, I've heard that the trails are absolutely stunning, a lot more runnable, a lot less sort of like fiddly and awkward that you get on the North Downs Way. So yeah, hopefully I'll be running the South Downs Way. I think that race takes place in July. So yeah, watch out for an announcement on that one. And then later on in the year, I've been thinking about doing something again local and sort of like a smaller community-based race. And I've been looking at maybe doing one of the Copthorne races. So that's a looped race, ultra, in the Box Hill area. It starts at Mickleham, and I did sort of like a recce of this towards the back end of 2023. And it's basically, depending on what distance you enter, that's how many laps you run of the loop. So yeah, I'm potentially looking at doing one of those races at the end of the year. Obviously there will be other things sprinkled in throughout the year. Probably going to be doing the Shere 42k, maybe one of the other Shere races, maybe the 21, maybe I'll have another go at the 10k again, but we'll have to wait and see. But I'm sure whatever I get up to here on YouTube, it's going to be a load of fun. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope that's sort of like giving you a little update on how I got on last year and what to look forward to in 2024 here on this channel. So that's it for now, guys. I'll leave it here. If you've got any other questions about any races or any ideas for things to do in 2024, please do drop them below. Also, let me know how you got on in 2023. I'd love to know how your running went for last year. So that's it for now. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys in another video. Peace.